You all set? Okay. Welcome to the Monday, June the 16th meeting of the Montpelier Design Review Committee. We'll let members and staff introduce themselves.
Benjamin Cheney, member.
Rebecca Owens, member.
Meredith Crandall, staff.
Stephen Everett, member.
Martha Smirsky, member.
Liz Pritchett, member.
Eric Gilbertson, member.
Wow, everybody's in here. At this point, we will let Meredith review the remote meeting procedures and process.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen. The stuff on the screen is mostly for people who are viewing tonight's meeting over ORCA Media. But then there'll be stuff in the spiel for anybody who hasn't done this before. Do you have the big speaker on? Yeah, I think you can turn that off. Okay, great. Thank you. The tiniest bit of an echo from here. Okay, so for anyone viewing tonight's meeting via ORCA Media, you can participate in the Design Review Committee discussion via the Zoom platform through either telephone or video access options. For the full video experience, please type this link into your web browser. Alternatively, you can use any phone and dial in using this phone number. And then when prompted, put in this meeting ID. In both events, I will get a message that you want to get access to the meeting and be able to let you in. If anyone is trying to get into the meeting and having problems, please email me at mcrandall@montpelier-vt.org. For those attending via Zoom, turning your video on is optional. For everyone attending, please keep your microphone on mute when you're not speaking. This will help reduce background noise. And if you are somebody commenting on an applicant and not the primary applicant and you wish to speak, please raise your hand and wait for the chair to call on you, and then you'll be able to speak. Note the Zoom chat function should only be used for troubleshooting or logistics questions. Questions or comments about actual items on the agenda should be made verbally. In the event the public is unable to access tonight's meeting, it will need to be continued to a time and place certain. I'll now hand the meeting back over to the chair.
At this point, could I have someone make a motion to approve the agenda?
This is Martha.
Moved.
The agenda.
And I will second.
All in favor of the agenda, speak your names.
Rebecca.
Eric.
Martha.
Ben.
Stephen? Agenda is
Liz.
approved. And at this point, we could go forward to the first applicant for 140 Main Street, Malone Packard Road Properties, LLC. Is someone here for the Malone Properties?
Yes. Alicia Filer.
And what is your name?
Oh, you just gave it.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's
Alicia.
okay.
Okay,
Alicia
I'm sorry.
Filer. Yep.
I
And
didn't
Mike
get it the
Mike
first
Foster
time.
is also here.
That's a little better.
Is that better? Good, thank you.
Press it in.
And for 140 Main Street, describe your application.
The project is proposing to convert the existing office building and carriage house to a boutique hotel. So there would be 12 rooms for rental and then one night manager's room, quarters, I guess. So the proposal is to convert the carriage house into 3 units on the first floor, 3 units on the second floor, and make revisions to the first and second floor of the main house with no significant changes to the third floor. There will be some changes just based on making adjustments for the staircases for the second floor configuration. There will be a couple additional parking spaces. We're going to freshen up the existing gravel parking into a paved parking, some sidewalk kind of access routes and whatnot, and then also a exterior deck off of the southern octagonal portion of the building, it's acting as an egress, but we're making it a kind of a fancier little deck space. Landscaping, there's landscaping in that plan. And a front access way for ADA access that comes kind of from their front door, but at Main Street level up to the northern side of the building to wrap to the ADA accessible entry point.
Let me know if you want me to share anything on the plans, or Alicia, I can give you some permissions to share plans if you want to.
I can share.
Well, I have to give you permission.
Yeah.
I think.
Can I please?
Yeah. For some reason, it wasn't allowing me to do it just one person at a time. So luckily, I know everybody who's on here tonight.
Okay.
At least I have one quick question.
Sure.
Are there any major changes from when you came before us?
When you went before the Historic Preservation Commission.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. I think that what I would consider the major difference is that we aren't changing the third floor dormers anymore. So that portion of the historical component that we had some discussions with Jay is not going to be applicable now. We aren't changing the dormers. They're going to stay exactly as they are. Let's see, the rear, we have a little bit more worked out for the carriage house that we're planning on Juliet balconies instead of official balconies off of the back over the river. But I don't believe there were any what I would consider additional changes as far as historic pieces. So we're taking that. We did note the Historic Commission had talked about a foundation for the deck. And what we're proposing instead is to still mimic the railings from that deck to match the front porch. But instead of having a full foundation to match the front porch, we're proposing several shrubs and kind of a landscaping bed around it to screen the view of the underside of the deck. But putting a full foundation is that would match that front porch is a kind of a cost prohibitive piece for that. But we think that the shrub coverage is going to help visually and also aesthetically. Putting some shrubs in is always good option.
Thank you.
Alicia, I didn't see any application or any indication that there might be an elevator.
There will not.
Okay.
You should be able to share your screen now, Alicia.
Oh, thank you. I got distracted.
Oh, no, it's fine. I just wanted to make sure you knew.
Thank you.
Permission should be working.
How are we doing here? Of course, is
Yeah.
it just the image? Oop. Okay, there we go.
You might need to zoom in though. There you go.
Okay, perfect. So let's see, and you can see my cursor as well.
Yep.
So the cursor, so Main Street is over here, the river being on the rear side of the parcel. The front ADA walkway is going to be this portion right here, and it will have the appropriate railing required. Just a concrete kind of, will more present itself like a elevated sidewalk than necessarily a ramp. We're planning on raising a little bit of the elevation in here to make it seem more flush with ground, and putting some landscaping beds. Some landscaping in there. Two new parking spaces here, kind of tucked along the side of the building. And then this is the proposed deck. This was the old walkway to the building, and so now this deck will kind of wrap with two egress points off the deck that help get to the rear parking and then also the front sidewalk. We're proposing some screening type hedge bushes along the property line, offset the property line. I wanted to add some different plants in here, but unfortunately we're running utilities to the back carriage house, so it limited what we could plant along that route. And then we'll have a little terraced kind of stone paver for this unit with the main entrance over here and some little shrubs around that to kind of screen from view. And then these little spots are proposed light posts.
Do you have any elevations of the deck and sort of railing proposals or material proposals?
I don't have any rendering type. We are proposing to mimic the front porch railing, the white kind of lower railing style, because it's a low deck. It won't require the safety handrail, so we'll be able to put that kind of low deck part on there. Low railing on there to have it match. But I don't have a rendering of that.
Great, but you're going to try to mimic that exact same sort of like style. You're less than
Mike,
30.
yeah, I think that was the understanding. Mike, do you think was that your understanding as well, that we were going to try to kind of reproduce the front?
Yeah, it'll match identically.
Delightful.
And one other piece I was just thinking of, I do have a picture for, or a sketch, and I think I included it in the images in the application package, was the railing extension on the roof.
Yeah,
Is that true? Do you have that picture in your packages?
We
yes.
do.
Okay, so I'm not okay. So that was just a kind of a me trying to represent the extension, just to help screen the rooftop units that would be on that flat roof portion. And there's also part of that upper railing that's in disrepair, so we'll fix the rest of the pieces when we're up there.
And I assume there's some sort of, the backing is to allow you to keep the openings the same, but also meet safety codes.
The backing was more so that for the upper railing, it's not a pedestrian space. It would just be up there. It was more to screen the actual mechanical units so that you wouldn't see them through that the railing
Oh,
itself.
it's not an actual deck that you can sit on.
No, it's not accessible by the everyday person.
Okay.
Yep.
Alicia, I'm having trouble understanding where the deck would go.
Which the patio, the
That
deck
she's talking about.
right now?
Where, as the building sits right now, where it would go. I
So
understand
the
porches.
Okay, so yeah, so this is the deck that people can walk on and utilize. And then there's a flat roof on this octagonal portion that also has a more intricate railing, but it is not intended as a safety measure at this point because there's not people up on this roof, but we are putting mechanical units up here. So in order to screen some additional of those mechanical units, we extended a portion of the roof deck railing.
I'm understanding that, but
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
thought that we were talking about another kind of deck at the ground level.
So
Alicia, wrong?
Alicia, do you have everything that you submitted in the application, or if you want to close this, I can open my PDF of the scan of what they got, because I think there's photos in there that would help this. If you just stop sharing versus me like stealing it away
Will
from you.
do. Yes.
That bump out on the plan. Running the deck
Oh.
around it.
Give me a second.
Alicia, I have another quick question for you. This is Eric. Are you applying for the historic preservation tax credits?
I do not believe we are.
So Martha,
Yeah.
right, so we're on Main
that's
Street. Here's where that person deck is gonna go, wrap around this bump out here.
Okay.
And so the railing around that will match the railing. Let me change my cursor so it's actually hand.
It's okay.
Will match this railing.
And will that deck around that bump out, will that reach the front porch? Will it go that way or just be limited to around the bump out?
According to this, there are going to be
Lip-
steps right there and then a walkway, but it won't be at the same level.
Yeah, I think it steps down, but I think there's doors that go out onto it from
I
inside.
know that. I
Okay.
understand that.
But yeah, it won't go all the way up, I don't think, but I'll let Alicia answer that.
The deck will not connect to the front porch.
Okay.
The deck will have stairs down and walkway to the front walkway along Main Street. And then we'll also have a walkway to the back parking, but the elevated deck and will not go to the front porch.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I have two questions. It's Liz. So Alicia, you have been in touch though with the Division for Historic Preservation. You had a site visit with someone.
For this building, we have requested a site. We have requested that, but we haven't gotten a confirmation yet. The other project we have in that letter. But yes, we have requested it and we know that process and we're planning on doing that and are required to as well by the city as part of the flood hazard. But yes, we have requested one from the state.
Thank you. And the other question is, and maybe we don't really talk too much about interiors, but I was curious with the main staircase. I think it said on the plans that it was going to be replaced to match what's there now. Is that correct? The front staircase? Yeah. And I was just curious why it needs to be replaced. Is it?
It's not going to be. It's not
Mike
going
can
to
speak
be.
on this.
It's not going to be.
Oh, you're keeping it now after all?
Yep. We always were. We always were. We hadn't never had any intentions of taking that out. It's too beautiful.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. It looked really nice in the picture and so good.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's staying.
All right. Thank you.
I didn't catch an answer. Are you applying for the historic preservation tax credits?
Oh, no, I don't believe we are. Mike, can you confirm that?
No,
We
I
are
don't
not
think we are.
we are not proposing to apply to those.
Have you thought about it?
I'm not sure that we have, but typically in the past we avoid a lot of the hand holding that requires from those types of credits. So we have looked into it on one other one and it didn't work out. So I think we're kind of just moving forward on our own pace at this one.
Okay, just wanted to know because I think it's a 20% tax credit on your investment at this point. I used to administer that program, so.
Oh, okay.
It's something we definitely can look into.
To Elizabeth Peebles up at the Division for Historic Preservation.
Yep.
At this point, does anyone have any questions, comments, suggestions about everything that's been presented so far?
I think it's a great project and I'm really excited you're taking it on. Thank you.
I made a mistake. You might talk to Caitlin Corkins at the Division. I think she's doing the tax.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So as far as the design review portion, I can read through the criteria that apply to the project. Number one, exterior design and materials of new construction or alterations of existing buildings shall be consistent and compatible with the characteristics of the existing building or other properties in the district. The removal of historic materials, there's not part of the application to remove materials. Character defining features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize historic buildings shall be preserved. Deteriorated character defining features shall be repaired rather than replaced. It looks like there's no severity of deterioration requiring any replacement. Any treatments that cause damage to historic materials, including but not limited to chemical or physical treatments, shall not be approved. This application is acceptable. Existing buildings shall be recognized as a physical record of their time, place, and use. Any new development shall be differentiated from the old, but shall respect and be compatible with the massing, size, scale, and architectural features, detailing and overall character of the primary historic building and nearby historic properties acceptable. Proposed landscaping shall be compatible with the neighborhood and the site on which the project's located acceptable. Location and appearance of all utilities, mechanical equipment, trash storage, and fencing shall be sited to minimize adverse visual impact or adequately and appropriately screened from public view acceptable. Alterations to buildings called for by public safety, accessibility, and fire codes shall be designed to maintain the character of the construction materials and features to the maximum extent feasible, acceptable. For parcels with both river and street frontage, development shall be oriented so that both river and street facades are primary. Materials on the river side of a structure shall be of equal character and quality as those on the street side. Both facades should incorporate fenestration, detailing, and other building components that are dimensionally proportional and are pedestrian friendly, acceptable. Proportion, compatibility of relationship between width and height of facades, as well as relationship of width to height of any windows and doors acceptable. Rhythm, visual patterns established by the alterations of solid walls and openings, windows and doors in the facade of a building shall create a rhythm. Patterns of solids and openings shall be preserved to the extent feasible, acceptable. Roof shape and equipment. Consider similarity or compatibility with roof shapes in immediate area, concealing any rooftop equipment and features on flat roofs from eye level view from adjacent public rights of way and from the ground level of any adjacent properties. Roof forms and pitch shall not be altered on the primary facade, acceptable. Roof drainage systems. Roof drainage systems shall not hide or obscure architectural character defining features and shall run adjacent to building corners when possible. I didn't notice any additional.
Yeah, that was one I didn't dig in deep
Okay.
enough to the site plans to know if they're
That's
even in
okay.
there. So that might be a not applicable. I'm not 100%
Could be
sure.
not applicable, but anyway, there was nothing proposed that was objectionable. Outdoor lighting fixtures, structural design of outdoor lighting fixtures shall be compatible with the architectural design and function of the building and compatible with the neighborhood, acceptable. Landscaping, screening, and site furnishings. Projects within the district shall be subject to the landscaping requirements in section 3203 and shall consider the following. Site furnishings, including fencing, seating, other types of site furniture visible from the street or side yards. Does landscaping obscure or undermine key architectural patterns or elements on the historic building? Mechanical equipment screening. For historic structures, existing historic and contributing resources such as street trees, fences, gates, walls, steps, gazebos, walkways, front and side yard patterns shall be retained or restored when impacted by any alteration of the building. Walls and fences shall be compatible with the site and building and scale, traditional materials and design that reflects the period of the building and or is compatible with the surrounding context, acceptable. Windows and doors on historic structures. Character defining windows and door patterns, placement, sizes, proportions, and original features such as trim, sash, and molding shall be preserved to the extent possible. When preservation is not possible, such character defining windows and doors must be rehabilitated or replaced in kind. Windows and doors that are not character defining may be replaced, but such replacements must be compatible with the historic building style, materials, and architectural features acceptable. Porches and stairs on historic structures. Location of porches, ramps, and stairs shall be placed in a manner that does not impact or undermine the original and significant ornamentation or detailing of the existing building. Stairs, ramps, and porches shall employ suitable detailing to connect and be compatible with the historic and important design features of the existing buildings and new construction. Stairs and ramps shall be designed in a manner with details and materials that provide the most sensitive and compatible structure and that fits the building design and layout acceptable. All in favor of the application as proposed, speak your name.
Ben,
Rebecca,
Stephen?
Martha, I say yes.
Eric,
I think, Liz, that was a yes, right? You just didn't, the microphone didn't kick in time.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Do you want to explain their next step?
So I'm
Yes,
gonna get
Cheryl.
to work on the administrative site plan report for this because of the lighting and all the path changes. And then, but we need to wait. I want to wait for the river hazard approval before I issue the zoning permit. I like to issue those all together.
Okay.
And so just keep me posted on your timing with your meeting with the state. Because yeah, that's their. I don't really have a say in what they say under the river hazard aspects
Sure.
of it.
Sounds good. We will be sure
Okay.
to do that. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and good luck with your project.
Thanks.
Now we can go to the next application for 118 Main Street. Owner applicant, 118 Main Street LLC. Do we have the same people?
Same people.
Hey.
So you get a replay for the next project.
Yes. So this we already went before you folks once, and
Yes.
it was we have added we are requesting a couple additional openings for windows on the second floor of the southern side of 7.5 School Street. So it's the brick portion in the back of 118 Main Street. I do have a kind of a sketch of where those openings are supposed to be. Those windows are going to match the same size openings, the same style. They'll all on the second floor, all the windows will have the same shed style dormer. And we did get a letter back from the historic preservation on the second time for including these reservations with no adverse effect.
can we look at the sketch?
Yeah, Alicia, do you want to share it or do you want me to pull it up? Oh, you're muted, Alicia.
I can share it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so the actual design review committee recommendation form had authorized them to put in put in windows where previously there had been windows. So we had seen places where maybe brick had been infilled, but it was very specifically that. And so I made them come back because they're talking about putting in windows where there hadn't been any previously.
And I remember we had quite a discussion about the kinds of windows and
Yeah.
how they would look.
Yep. Oh, that's tiny.
Is it tiny?
I think you somehow shared your whole screen and it's like a thumbnail.
I'm gonna stop. How do okay.
Hold on. I might be
Meredith,
able to-
do you mind?
No, I don't mind at all.
So these are just the 3 additional windows on the.
Hold on. I've got it
Well, actually, it's a
here.
total. Yes.
So we've got
Total. There'll be a total of 8.
oops.
Oh
What happened?
gosh.
One
Oh,
of these
man.
is upside down.
Upside down.
One is upside down. Hold on one second. Let me just flip that one. There we go. So this is here, Alicia, does this help?
Yes, but you'll actually want to go down to what's called the third floor.
Yep.
Yes. So okay, perfect. So there's some new openings shown. There was some corrections kind of to this floor plan. So there's a new opening which was previously shown on the plan on the far right. That one. The existing vent opening, which is the next one to the left, wasn't previously shown on the plan, but is existing in the real world. There's a louvered vent that will be converted into double hung windows. And then moving to the left, are two new previously not shown openings that we're requesting to provide light to that unit. Business suite.
And then we're removing 3 back here, right?
Yes. So there were previously openings proposed on the riverside, and we are eliminating any additional openings. We'll repair the existing windows on the main floor. There's 2 windows. We're repairing those, but we're not proposing any additional new openings on that riverside.
Any comments, questions, suggestions regarding the additional windows?
Looks
Okay.
fine to me.
Then I can go through the criteria for this one. Number 1, exterior design and materials of new construction or alterations of existing buildings shall be consistent and compatible with the characteristics of the existing building or other properties in the district. Removal of historic materials or alteration of features that characterize an historic property shall be avoided. In this case, we're adding windows, which is acceptable. Character-defining features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize an historic building shall be preserved. Deteriorated character-defining features shall be repaired rather than replaced. Where the severity of deterioration requires a replacement of a character-defining feature, the new feature shall be replaced in kind. There aren't any treatments that are going to proposed that would cause damage to historic materials, including but not limited to any chemical or physical treatments. This is acceptable in the application. Existing buildings shall be recognized as a physical record of their time, place, and use. Any new development shall be differentiated from the old, but shall respect and be compatible with the massing, size, scale, architectural features, detailing, and overall character of the primary historic building in nearby historic properties. Acceptable. For parcels with both river and street frontage, development shall be oriented so that both river and street facades are primary. Materials on the riverside of a structure shall be of equal character and quality as those on the street side. Both facades should incorporate fenestration, detailing, and other building components that are dimensionally proportioned and are pedestrian friendly. Acceptable. Proportion, compatibility of relationship between width and height of facades as well as relationship of width to height of windows and doors. Acceptable. Rhythm, the visual patterns established by the alterations of solid walls and openings, windows and doors, and the facade of the building shall create a rhythm. Patterns of solids and openings shall be preserved to the extent feasible. Acceptable. Architectural features, including but not limited to cornices, windows, shutters, fan lights, entablature, trim, and other forms of molding or character-defining detailing prevailing on the existing building, should be considered in the alteration of a building. Architectural features on an addition shall not duplicate but shall respect the original historic building's architectural features. Acceptable. Windows and doors on historic structures. Character-defining windows and door patterns, placement, sizes, proportions, and original features, such as trim, sash, and molding, shall be preserved to the extent possible. When preservation is not possible, such character-defining windows and doors must be rehabilitated or replaced in kind. Windows and doors that are not character-defining may be replaced, but such replacements must be compatible with the historic building's style, materials, and architectural features. Also acceptable. All in favor of the application as proposed, speak your name.
Eric,
Ben,
Rebecca,
Stephen,
Martha,
application is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
All
you
right.
very much for coming.
All right, so this was just an amendment to the open permit. So what I'm going to do is I will send you guys a copy of the form, and I will put this all into the file that we have. And probably what I'll do is I'll send you a new blue notice, just because that is an action that could theoretically be appealable for you to post in the window.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
And good night. The next application is for 137 Berry Street, Good Samaritan Haven. You want to come up to the table and describe your project for us?
I am Julie Bond, Executive Director of Good Samaritan Haven.
And I'm Beth Bombar. I'm with KW Vermont and the Realtor representing them on their purchase of 137 Berry Street. So I'll give you the overview of the exterior changes. The building is currently the Central Vermont Solid Waste Management District's building that they've moved out of. And the goal is to put an 18-bed emergency shelter in that space that would operate year-round, and has additional administrative staff for Good Samaritan Haven. So we have some exterior changes to fix things and some to improve accessibility, and then code and safety stuff. So the existing, there's a ramp on the side of that porch now. Thanks. Should we go through an order? Want me to go through an order?
Sure.
Sure. Great. Yeah, so if you want to beep to the next one, that's great. That's an overview of the site plan. You can see it's a shared driveway with another way in 180, what the building down below it. And then we have a huge strip of parking behind as well, which is great.
That's all parking.
Yep,
That
existing
sounds
parking is
great.
13. Yep. We have enough parking spaces for 11 parking areas with our new site plan, which is adequate for our use.
I'm just gonna get to the picture.
Sure. Great. So this is the accessible ramp. The ramp needs to, the angle on the ramp is not ADA compliant right now. And so they want to regrade the ramp and extend it out just a little further than the existing porch is, so that it's at the right compliant grade. And then repave, it's crushed stone gravel right now on that lead up. And so they will either put concrete or some other surface there to make accessibility enhanced. The railings in the front and on the side are not up to existing code. And so they're going to put in behind it metal railings. So the front railings will be maintained and unchanged, just like secured and supported and maybe repainted. But the railing will come up behind it and go up to the appropriate 42 inches, and making sure that there's no gaps larger than 4 inches on that. And so that's going to be all along the east elevation, which is the front of the house, and then on the north elevation on the side with the ramps as well. And then there's a little section on the south elevation, which you can see in that top picture. That very first arrow is on the south elevation along the deck that goes the other side, Meredith, on the, yep, that one right there. So that would be brought to 42 inches as well. Three support piers are inadequate and or in need of replacement on the front of that deck. So we would just be resecuring those and pouring appropriate footings for those.
And here, especially for Eric and Liz who are on remotely, you can see how this railing here is a lot shorter than further behind. So this front section here is the one where they need to put that metal
Right.
railing behind it.
There's some rod and crown molding at the top, and some deck boards that need replacing on the upper and lower decks and on the front deck. So it would just be replacing those, repairing them. There has been some evidence of ice jamming, which led to some intrusion of water in that corner near the turret. And so we would be looking at replacing the little skirting on the bump out of that turret, and re-roofing that, and then enhancing the flashing and the kick out of this corner right here to prevent further ice jams. We'll keep it all architecturally the same, you know, no visible change, just improvements in what's there. Upgrade the material. So there's some drainage coming. We'd add some drainage along this corner near the base of the retaining wall. It's graded in a way that has some potential to go towards the building, so just improving the drainage grade away from the building. Adding a concrete pad on the back. We would forfeit one of those pre-existing parking spaces from the 13, so we kind of estimated the 11 remaining. It would come out about 10 feet from the building at its narrowest, right, where the building pops out, and then go further back all the way to the back door under that deck. And this would be a nice entryway. We'd make sure it had a ramp for, you know, enhanced accessibility, and this will be a nice little place for guests to congregate in the back of the building instead of on the front porch. That old retaining wall has some big old cracks in it. So removing the sumac that's on top of that and repairing those cracks with epoxy and re-skimming them. Window replacement, number of very old single pane windows in that building. So we have 29 total windows that we're going to replace on the second and third and fourth floor elevations. The base level has actually been redone, and they had vinyl double hung, double paned windows, so we don't need to do those. And so we'll use historically accurate wood framed Marvin G2 windows to replace those 29 windows throughout.
Those are the Marvin elevations.
Yeah, I think so. I think I added a slide in there about what they would be.
Oh, hold on. This is the older one. This isn't the new one you sent me. Give me 1 second.
They are. Yeah, the builder just gave me Marvin G2 double hung. Knowing more about that is above my pay grade. Extruded aluminum exterior, wood interior.
It's a clad exterior.
Yes.
Both the metal clad, which is their clad ultimate double hung, and the elevation, which is a ultraviolet resistant fiberglass, are both acceptable.
Okay.
The detail matches the historic properties.
Okay. Yeah. And they were going to use the anywhere they have the dividers in them existing, they'll exist again in the new windows.
True divided lights. I pulled up the updated
Thank you.
presentation.
Like there were words.
Yes.
I don't know them.
Okay, so there's that.
Windows,
Look at that.
so many windows.
Yep. So here's the east elevation, photos of the windows that'll need to be replaced. South elevation.
And then none of the sizes will change. They'll all remain. If they're a bay window, large window, it'll stay big window.
And the windows, existing windows are 2/2s.
Yeah. For the most of them. There's a couple on the first floor that are the big kind of bay windows. Not quite bay, but
Double hung ones. Yeah.
Picture windows. Yep. There's 3 of them, I think. One on the first floor.
You see, there's 2 there.
There's
and
one
then
on, you can't see it's shadowed.
this here.
That's the porch one, yeah.
Yep. And here's another look at the patio space, additional views, just to sort of see how it's going to bump out from the building. Let me know if anybody wants to see something, another slide in particular. I can go back.
Guess I'm a little more curious about the roof improvements around the turret.
Yeah. So the plan is, so on the, if you look at the picture of the roof, you can see there's that little skirt that goes around it, and that's currently clad with some very old cedar shingles.
Yeah.
And so those would come off and be probably replaced with shingle instead of cedar, and then flashing put underneath it and then improve water barrier.
You say shingle, you mean like an asphalt shingle?
Asphalt shingle. Yeah, we don't have that's the plan right now. We could certainly explore cedar for that particular part if that needed to be happened for historical purposes, but. And then flashing on that edge, where there's just, it's not flash right now, it's just shingle all the way down to where it meets the turret. And so be just looking at some kick flashing there.
What is the rest of the roof? Is it asphalt or is it shingle?
Asphalt shingle.
So it's just this little part here that's the cedar shingle that matches with this
Cedar siding.
cedar shingles,
Like-
right?
Yeah, cedar.
So it's an extension of that same kind of material, and the edge and the color strip here that sort of wraps around to form that little.
It's actually
of roof
the
almost.
one on the same level as clapboard. It's the one above it. The white is the cedar shingle, the shake.
Really?
Yeah. Not on the front, not on that elevation. On one that's already been replaced. On one of the other elevations, it's cedar on the very top there. Oh no.
Okay.
That's
Let me
cedar right
look.
there.
I'm gonna go to Google Maps
Yeah.
and see if I can pull in a better view.
Yeah.
It's just a little cleaner.
Is the remainder of the roof above that, is that like a black asphalt shingle?
Yes.
I would love to see that remain a cedar shingle that can accept paint and sort of have that definition from the roofing that's behind it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd like to explore that too. And if you don't need too many wood shingles, maybe it won't impact the cost too much.
Yeah, it's not a huge section.
Mm.
I'm sure that we could explore that.
All right, so this is I've zoomed. Let me turn off the lights so people can see a little better in there.
Cost is getting up in there and starting the work, not necessarily the material.
So you guys can't see very well
It
there.
does
You can
suck.
come look at my laptop.
Yeah, I can
So
see it.
the front looks like it's
Yeah, clapboard, and then it does have that row of cedar above it. You can see
Yeah.
it on the smaller screen.
so
Yeah.
there is cedar there, that funky, and then hold on, I need to zoom out and get a different view without the tree. And then here's this little strip. You can see a little strip of shingles.
Yeah.
In between the second and third story windows on that, and it looks like there's shingle in the cream peak to the right of the tower as well.
Yeah, we're happy to explore keeping that cedar.
I would like that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a very nice building. And I'm glad to see it's going to have a new exciting use.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Do you get ice built up on the cedar underneath the parapet?
There's significant signs of ice damming that has led to water intruding and tearing down some of the plaster on the interior on that corner. These folks haven't been in that building, so we don't know if it was a one-time event or an ongoing thing. But there is significant water damage on the interior.
when if they replace all that cedar, make sure they use a really good water and ice shield
Yep.
on it. And then the shingles would be applied on top of that.
Yep.
And if there are any melting issues from the inside, it it's pretty easy to inject a lot of close-cell foam in that area
Mhm.
so that you don't have any spots where you have enough heat loss that's causing
Yeah.
melting and refreezing.
We have a number of other contractors working on efficiency and habitability and environmental reviews. We have a lot of folks kind of with their good expertise helping with the project and development. So hopefully we'll have the right people in place for that.
Good.
I'm gonna kind of reflash that junction of the roof and the tower.
Yes.
Just gonna be standard flashing. And if you use ice and water shield on the shingles, you should there's a kind of sort of like Scotch-Brite pads should put under the shingles so they can breathe from underneath.
Okay, great.
Otherwise, the water gets trapped and it rots the back of the shingles.
I'll make a note of that. Thank you.
Does anyone have any other questions, comments, or suggestions based on the proposals?
I think it's a great project. Thank you.
Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you for
Good.
doing it. Great.
Yes, thank you for doing that. Good project in meeting the challenges of preserving things and making it last.
Yes, thank you.
And the use is something the city needs for sure.
Yep.
And again, I'll read through the criteria. So there'll be a replay of what you've already heard
You need a
twice.
tape recorder.
I should have read it once for all three at the same time. I know. Exterior design and materials of new construction or alterations of existing buildings shall be consistent and compatible with the characteristics of the existing building or other properties in the district. Removal of historic materials that characterize an historic property shall be avoided when possible. Character-defining features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize an historic building shall be preserved. Deteriorated character-defining features shall be repaired rather than replaced. Where the severity of deterioration requires replacement of a character-defining feature, the new feature shall be replaced in kind. And there are no treatments proposed that will cause any damage to historic materials. So that's acceptable. Existing buildings shall be recognized as a physical record of their time, place, and use. For historic structures, any new development shall be differentiated from the old, but shall respect and be compatible with the massing, size, scale, architectural features, detailing and overall character of the primary historic building and nearby historic properties acceptable. Alterations to buildings called for by public safety, accessibility, and fire codes shall be designed to maintain the character of the construction materials and features to the maximum extent feasible, acceptable. Proportion, compatibility of relationship between width and height of facades as well as relationship of width to height of windows and doors, acceptable. Rhythm, visual patterns established by the alterations of solid walls and openings, windows and doors, in the facade of a building shall create a rhythm. Patterns of solids and openings shall be preserved to the extent feasible, acceptable. Architectural features, including but not limited to cornices, windows, shutters, fan lights, entablature, trim, and other forms of molding or character-defining detailing prevailing on in the existing building, shall be considered in the alteration of a building. Architectural features on an addition shall not duplicate but shall respect the original historic building's architectural features acceptable for this project. Landscaping, screening, and site furnishings. Projects within the design review district and subject to the landscaping requirements shall consider the following: site furnishings, including fencing, seating, other types of site furniture visible from the street or side yards. Does landscaping obscure or undermine key architectural patterns or elements on historic buildings? And mechanical equipment screening. Existing historic and contributing resources such as street trees, fences, gates, walls, steps, gazebos, walkways, front and side yard patterns shall be retained or restored when impacted by the alteration of a building. Walls and fences shall be compatible with the site and the building in scale, traditional materials, and design that reflect the period of the building and or is compatible with the surrounding context. Acceptable. Windows and doors on historic structures. Character defining windows and door patterns, placement, sizes, proportions, and original features such as trim, sash, and moldings shall be preserved to the extent possible. When preservation is not possible, such character defining windows and doors must be rehabilitated or replaced in kind. Windows and doors that are not character defining may be replaced, but such replacements must be compatible with the historic building style, materials, and architectural features. Acceptable. Porches and stairs on historic structures. Location of porches, ramps, and stairs shall be placed in a manner that does not impact or undermine the original and significant ornamentation or detailing of the existing building. Stairs, ramps, and porches shall employ suitable detailing to connect and be compatible with the historic and important designed features of existing buildings and new construction. Stairs and ramps shall be designed in a manner with details and materials that provide the most sensitive and compatible structure and that fits the building design and layout. Acceptable. All in favor of the application as proposed?
I admit I
Eric,
glossed over that and I didn't note if you mentioned our recommendation around
State how you would like that to read,
the.
the recommendation.
I mean, I guess they've agreed to try to keep the historical context, so I just wanted to make of that,
But the wooden shingles?
of the wooden cedar shingles on that parapet.
While he's writing that, can I ask a question? Has it been used as a residence at all before previously?
The third floor is an apartment,
Okay.
and before 2000, when Central Vermont Solid Waste Management owned it, it was a residence.
Okay, all right. I was
Oh.
thinking,
One family or more than one
I
family?
believe the apartment may have existed then, but I'm unclear, but it was one family listed on that. It was a single family by the looks of it. Except for maybe with that third floor having been renovated previously to be an apartment.
my advice just for managing rentals is to change as many windows as possible because of the lead loss. Your life
Yeah.
will be easier. if you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's part of our HUD habitability standards as well, with the state funds that are backing this.
So what I wrote down was that the wooden cedar shingles surrounding the parapet would be replaced in kind with flashing treatments to prevent water intrusion and damage to the structure of the building.
You always do a really good job with that. Thank you.
I'm sorry?
You always do a very good job with that. Thank you.
Okay, I didn't know if I needed to add anything else. Okay, with that added, do I hear a vote by speaking your name?
Ben,
Rebecca,
Martha, I say yes.
Stephen says yes.
Eric says yes.
Says yes.
Application is approved,
Thank you very much.
and good luck with your project.
Thank you. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So I do need to do a site plan report on this. So this probably won't turn around immediately tomorrow, but we'll get it out to you as soon as we can. And I can't remember if Michelle needs anything else for the building permit. Okay. We try to give you guys all those at the same time. So she'll know that it's got the zoning approval and I'm just tidying up the paperwork on my end. And so she'll be able to then move forward on whatever she needs to do for the building permit and reach out to you. No, she is out of the office Wednesday through Friday this week.
Great.
So-
Yeah, I don't think we were gonna get her more building permit stuff until next week anyhow.
Okay.
Interior changes, although we have the list pretty much ready to go.
Awesome. So I will get the, if it's that long of a space, I might issue the zoning permit as soon as I can. That way you can get that notice up and that appeal period can
That's
start.
what we are hoping, yeah.
So
If we
we'll
start
get,
timeline
yep,
For the Monday, that'd be great.
yep. I will get that one issued as soon as possible.
And since you're both present, would one of you like to sign the application
That's the big boss. there.
criteria sheet?
Well, and especially because on this one, there's a recommendation on it. So that's your signing says that you agree to the shingle condition.
Yeah, so we'll let the builders know.
Awesome. And I will email you when the zoning permit's ready. So
Okay.
that somebody can just come pick it up and
Okay.
Thank you.
deal with it.
Okay, good.
Screen.
Yep.
Stuff, it's like a squishy foam. Cedar breathers. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like, it looks like the same kind of material you put like soap on. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen it though.
Hi.
Thank you. And under other business, we have a request for guidance from the owner, Melissa Shekina. I don't know how you pronounce that. That's just a wild stab on an external lift dumbwaiter next to the stairs.
Hey, Melissa, I did give everybody who's here printed copies of what you sent me, and I emailed them to Liz and Eric who are on remotely. And I'm happy to also, share screen on whatever we need to. I don't know if you want to just describe, well, one, it would be great if you could tell us how to pronounce your last name, because I don't know either, because we haven't talked on the phone. And then, yeah, if you want to describe what you're trying to do.
It's okay, nobody gets my last name the first time. It's Shekinah. And so I believe this house actually had this installed previously, maybe not this design specifically, but the way that the house is set up, there's about 60 steps before you even reach the front door. So I think they had some sort of system to bring up heavy objects, packages, groceries, that sort of thing. And like I can see the remnants of it at the bottom of the stairs. So I'm just kind of hoping to redo that. And I have Hutch, who provided an explanation of what's going to be installed, and that it won't alter or attach any of the historic structures or be visible. Well, depends on, I guess, what angle, but it's not really going to be, it's in between the stairwell and the house, so it's not going to be dramatically visible. I'm not going to say that it won't be visible, but I'm not the one building it. Will be temporary and reversible, and it won't obstruct any of the historical views or alter the appearance in any way. Yep, that's the one.
So I just got a shared screen here just so that people can see. I mean, I think we're all pretty familiar with this view. Anybody who's lived in Montpelier for very long.
Yeah.
But there's the stairs up to the old TW Wood location. And so it would be tucked in along the side here.
Yeah. And if you look at there, well, back where you had it, there was like a little metal structure that I'm pretty sure, to the right, you can sort of see it. There's a wooden structure and then there's a metal frame above it. I'm almost positive that that's what it was before. It looks like there was some electronics there. So I'm pretty sure there was something there previously. So I don't know if it was taken down because it just got old, or insurance, or if somebody put it up without asking you guys. That's why I'm here. So that's where I'm at.
Do you plan to motorize this thing, or is it like a?
I don't want to motorize it. I think like a pulley system could be pretty simple, and don't plan on like bringing, 300-pound objects up every day. So I don't think motorizing it makes sense. This is basically just, if I do a Costco run, I don't want to have to go up and down the stairs 3 times.
A giant clothesline.
I was thinking.
Yeah, basically, that's what it is. It's a giant clothesline. I don't even know what to call it. I think it's like subject zip line. Somebody called it a dumbwaiter. Somebody else called it an elevator. It's basically just a couple of poles that are very strong in structure and a line that will be, you can pull the stuff up and will stop it from, that's got a good catch. So if it falls back, it won't go all the way back down without somebody releasing it. That's kind of it. It's not complicated. It's not going to mess with anything. It's tucked away between the stairs and the house, and it's a pretty simple thing. And I don't know what the next steps are. This is my first time owning a historical house or asking for if it needs a permit and that sort of thing. That's where I'm at.
Who will do the work?
His name is Hutch Warren. He's an architectural design guy.
I'm excited to see how it comes together. It's definitely actually a fairly complex thing to build, but I believe that it can be made simple, but it will be interesting.
It's actually like a miniature T-bar ski lift with a basket instead of a bar.
Right.
Yeah, no, I've thought of it as a ski lift too. Yeah.
But how you operate it and keep it from going back down the hill if you get tired.
Yeah, he was saying that that's actually a pretty simple solution. There's the thing that's attached to the line on it has a catch, so if it starts to go backwards, if you don't undo the catch, that it'll stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is this like the only entrance to the house?
Yeah.
I thought there was one uphill, but I guess not, up the road a little bit. On the south side.
I don't think that'd be any easier.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Oops, sorry. So Liz, it is
yes,
right. It's this one here.
Yes, I realize.
Because just back here is, because
that's yeah.
Right, here's the other.
There probably was
a house.
That's maybe what I'm thinking of.
Between the two.
Yeah.
At one point, when there was a single property.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I said there probably was a path between the two houses when it was a single property.
Yeah, I think I was maybe thinking of the south side of that house, your house. It's confusing it with the one up the hill. As far as what the elevation is on that sort of south elevation.
Yeah, it's definitely like 40 feet from the car to the front door. Gain elevation, if not more.
Thank you.
No problem.
I would consider motorizing it. I think once you have it, you're gonna use it a lot.
Is that going to require additional structures though to keep that motor weather, keep it protected from the weather? It might be more maintenance.
The motor would be attached to the top tower.
Okay. That makes sense. So I sent Melissa here in part to get your guys' definite input because I couldn't find any exemptions that would have this be administrative design review. Technically, it's new structures in the design review district. And I wanted to just make sure that she got your input early before paying any fees to see if you had any big concerns before she started working further with a contractor on design.
I don't have any problem. I mean, you're looking uphill at this thing and you're going to see very little of it other than as you go up the street, you may see some of it from looking up at the stairway to the right of the stair. But if you painted that a dark color, you're never going to see it.
Yeah.
Either black or something that disappears into the hillside.
Also, it's camouflaged by the stairway.
Yep.
Right there. I'm curious to see what this will look like and how it will work. The zip line comment about it being a zip line makes me think of a person going down it with a helmet.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
please don't do that.
The trick is to take the load uphill.
I know.
And again, I'm thinking I
recognize
would put a motor on that thing. I wouldn't want to have to stand up at the top and crank it.
I'll talk to him about options.
It reminds me of in Amsterdam when there's some buildings that are so narrow that the stairway is barely 28 inches wide, and you can't walk up the stairs and carry a suitcase. So what they do is beside the stairs goes up about 3 stories is they have it's like a dumbwaiter. It's like a lock and tackle lift. It's got a little motor at the top. And
The houses are actually intentionally built to slant.
Push a button and the luggage goes up and you take it off.
Yeah. Yeah. All the houses that have those in Amsterdam are built with a slant so that way they can do that without hitting the building.
Wow.
And then some of the buildings, actually the commercial buildings there, if you look at the architecture, the buildings were built at an angle, purposeful angle. So that, and then it had a boom coming out and they had block and tackle that they could lift things up, including heavy objects. And the building was actually tipped forward so that the object coming up wouldn't hit the building until they got up to the 3rd floor opening. Well, good luck with your engineering project and looking forward to seeing what they've come up with.
So Melissa, when you've worked out maybe some of the finer points of the design, including whether or not you're going to do a motor, you will have to come back to design review committee with an application. I'm not seeing a way out of that aspect of it. But it sounds like, I don't see getting approval being a problem based on the comments you got today. It's just, we'll have to go through the process.
Okay, so I should get from Hutch a little bit more information is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think a little more information, including, a sense of the materials that you're going to use, including just color to see how it blends in. Steve was saying a dark color is probably your best bet, especially to blend in when in the winter and when the leaves aren't there to help camouflage it.
Okay.
And I'll get you the application forms.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. And just because this is all new to me, assuming that the application is submitted in time, will it be reviewed in 2 weeks on the 30th?
So the design review committee meets on the 1st and 3rd Mondays. So July 7th is the next meeting.
July 7th.
Yep.
Okay.
And if you are electrifying anything, we'll need to check in with our building inspector, depending on where the power's routing from.
I'm probably not going to electrify anything.
Okay.
Because I've already tried to do electric stuff with this house and it's a nightmare already. So I'm not gonna complicate this.
Gotcha.
Okay, so July 7th, what is the deadline for getting the application in?
I will need things by next Friday, the 27th.
7th. Okay, and color, materials, and build system work. Okay, great. I think that's everything I need. And I'll get on him to get me this information and I'll start working on the application of the parts that I can do.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Thank you everybody for your time, unless there's something else I need.
Nope.
Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes for the May 19th meeting?
I have, and I make a motion to accept them the way they're written.
Do I hear a second?
I second Rebecca.
All in favor of the minutes for May the 19th, speak your names.
Martha?
Rebecca?
Stephen? Minutes are approved. Does anyone else have anything to add at this point? Or do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn. This is Martha.
I second
Second.
Rebecca.
All in favor of adjournment, speak your names.
Ben.
Rebecca?
Steve,
Martha.
meeting is
Liz.
adjourned. Thank you all for coming.